Arman Tsarukyan, Joel Alvarez. AJ, we can spend an hour talking about these fighters in this matchup just by itself, right? But we got to condense it a little bit. And we have number 13th ranked Arman Tsarukyan taking a little bit of a risk here against number 18th ranked Joel Alvarez. And really quickly, I just want to make note, Arman Tsarukyan did get the call to fight Islam Makhachev this week as a main event. He already lost to Makhachev, but had a very valiant effort, took him to a unanimous decision, took down Makhachev too. But he said he needed a little bit more time. So real quick, just give me a sentence or two, man. Do you respect that he says, hey, I want to play the long game? Because if I take a short notice bout against Islam Makhachev and I lose again and I didn't get the time to prepare, I have no case for a trilogy, really. So I'm going to hedge my bet. I'm going to say no right now. I'm going to basically bet on myself saying that he's going to beat Joel Alvarez to potentially set up a future Islam Makhachev fight. Maybe Makhachev gets the belt, bro, at lightweight, you know what I mean? And then Tsarukyan is in that mix where it's like, well, you remember when they fought before and he was able to get the takedown, took him to a decision. Makhachev is finishing everybody else. Just give me a sentence or two. What do you think?
Overall, I think it's a good call. I think at first, on visuals, on paper, it looks a little soft, but there's 5 or 6 other fighters who are in front of that call that also look soft now too, man. So I think overall for Arman Tsarukyan, he's playing chess, which I like, man. He's taking his own. He's betting on himself. Gotta love it. And taking the smart advantage to this because Makhachev is a hell of a fighter. And, it takes a dude with some big cojones to step up on a week's notice. Thank God we got Bobby Green, brother.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. So let's talk about this fight, though, right? AJ, we got a wrestler versus a downhill fighter, an avalanche fighter with sick jiu-jitsu, man. Arman Tsarukyan's best path to victory right here is to try to take Joel Alvarez down, get him in the half guard, stay away from the submissions. Striking might not be the best answer because Joel Alvarez will throw you a knee to the body, then a right hook, then a calf kick, then a body kick, and then another knee, then an elbow, and he'll throw all of these multitude of combinations to get you out of there. We saw that against Thiago Moises in his last fight, a fight that a lot of people said, oh, you saw Moises, it took Makhachev 4 rounds to get him out of there. Joel Alvarez is going to stand no chance. This dude got him out of there in like a minute, you know what I'm saying? Just downhill nonstop. Tsarukyan cannot allow that to happen if he wants to be competitive in this fight. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of takedowns in this. I mean, Tsarukyan has 14 takedowns landed in his last 5 fights. Granted, 10 of those came in the Matt Frevola fight. But if you could take down Matt Frevola 10 times, you probably got some good takedown chops, man. You took down Makhachev, all of that. Joel Alvarez is 75. He has a 75-inch reach to a 71-inch reach for Tsarukyan. So literally standing and trading would not be the wisest decision. Do you think? Or actually, I apologize. It's 77 inches to 72, so even more. So do you think, though, man, the height advantage, 6'2 to 5'9 in favor of Alvarez, the reach advantage is going to make it harder for Tsarukyan to be able to get in on those shots? Because he has a very feint-heavy game. Like, he's feint, and he'll throw a right hook and shoot immediately. Very Makhachev style. So do you think that it's going to be harder for him to do that, given the length of Alvarez, and Alvarez is going to be able to keep it on the feet? Or do you imagine Tsarukyan does get the takedowns and show off his skills as a wrestler?
I know. I definitely think it's going to be harder for Tsarukyan to be, get on the inside, especially with the snappy kicks that Joel Alvarez presents. I think it's going to be that mixed in with the range and the height advantage. It's going to be a little difficult, but Tsarukyan's the wrestler for the job right here. Another big kind of wrench that could possibly come to play in this fight is the submission attempts of Joel Alvarez. This dude has a sneaky guillotine, man. He's able to just sneak that arm in under the chin, in under your neck, get that blood kind of stop flowing to the brain. And he's very, very quick with it, man. He has a very sneaky way of just finding the mark, man, which I really like Joel Alvarez for in this fight. But Tsarukyan is just a different animal, man. All pressure, all day long, doesn't care, and very relentless on the ground game, man. This dude, he's just another new breed of fighter that we're seeing coming in where he's a very heavy wrestling attack, but also has bombs in the hands. So maybe he doesn't find the takedown. He's able to land something up top that gets Joel Alvarez thinking, gets him off that downward path, kind of starts getting in his brain a little bit, and then I think Tsarukyan runs away with the fight on this one, man. Honestly, this can go a multitude of ways. Don't get me wrong, Joel Alvarez is a live dog at those odds, man. Plus 180 for the opening odds. Looking really in favor of Tsarukyan, which, I mean, on paper kind of makes sense. But Alvarez is a live dog. You know what he did to Thiago Moises? Very impressive fight. If Alvarez can stay at range, maybe land a knee, we might not see as many takedowns. But Tsarukyan is an absolute monster out there on the wrestling. So I think Tsarukyan's going to be takedown city all day long. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, listen, brother. I think we just gotta see, man. Just because it's like at the end of the day, it's like it's easy to just be like, oh yeah, he's the wrestler. He's gonna take down Joel Alvarez. Joel Alvarez, I mean, listen, man, he could say, all right, take me down because I'm going to choke you the fuck out. You know what I mean? Take me down and I'm going to get into these wicked jiu-jitsu scrambles. I'm going to reverse you. I'm going to get on top. We did see Christian Yagos before he got knocked out by Tsarukyan did take down Tsarukyan. So that's just something to take note of. But I did want to just talk real quickly before we give our over and unders and all that. When Alvarez fought Damir Ismagulov, who is just 18 fight win streak, just complete savage in the lightweight division. I'm talking about him every other week for matchmaking. When he did it, you would think, oh, he just took down Alvarez a million times. No, man. He just stood and traded with him. He stayed out of range, in and out movement, didn't let Joel Alvarez's offense get started, and then his offense wasn't really that scary. He beat him handedly over 3 rounds. If Tsarukyan could manage to do the same thing, that would be very impressive, but I think Alvarez is coming for blood in this one, man. In his last 5 fights, 4 victories, all via finish. TKO round 1, submission round 1, submission round 1, and TKO round 2. That does include a guillotine win over Joe Duffy. Very, very impressive, AJ. Over and under on this fight appears to be 2.5 rounds. You going over, under, who wins, and why?
I'm going with the over, Derek. I'm going by decision. I'm taking Tsarukyan. I think he's gonna. I'd be more surprised to see him not shoot, stand, and bang than the takedown. Man, I think Tsarukyan's gonna work the takedown, get up on the inside, drag Joel Alvarez into those bloody waters like we like to see, and work his own game. Man, I think Tsarukyan's just next level. But like I said, Joe Alvarez, live dog right there, man.
Yeah, brother. This is basically a coin toss to me, but I'm going to go with Tsarukyan here. I'm going to go with the, I mean, you can't say the experience because both of them are 4-1 in the UFC. 19-2 is Alvarez, 17-2 is Tsarukyan. They're so similarly matched here, man. But I'm going to go with Tsarukyan because I've seen Alvarez spend more time on his back, and I do know that Tsarukyan does have the chops to, mitigate those submission attacks. He's never been submitted in his career, even though Alvarez has 16 submission wins. Should be a fun one, man. But listen, yeah, I'm going to go the over. I'm going to go Arman Tsarukyan. I just think he has a couple more tools in the tool belt to be able to get the job done. This dude's calling out top 5ers after all, brother. So it's like, all right, let's get it. And let's not forget Joel Alvarez because we record this on a Thursday. It drops on a Friday. Joel Alvarez still has to make weight. He missed weight pretty bad in his last fight. So as long as he can make the 155 pounds limit, we'll see what happens right there.